You know, the skeptics have got it pretty easy. They don't have to worry about much, do they? They just gotta, say that there's only what we can see with our narrow blinders on, and there's no problem. But the minute you admit that there's more than our physical body, you don't even have to admit that there's good and evil, which of course there is. But the minute you admit that you're more than your physical body, you got to make a choice. You got to think to yourself, does that mean there's some kind of an ecosystem here? Or does that mean that everything we run across in the other realm, that's all actually good? Because you'll hear people say that. They'll say things like, oh yeah, all these spirits or aliens or beings that we come across, they're all just good guys. They're all our space brothers. And I've seen nothing in reality that would back that up. Like, reality is pretty fractal. So if these things exist and they're feeding on us, I don't know if they'd be bad from our perspective. I don't know if they're evil. But I would think that whatever exists in our world where you have a reality where there's predators and prey, I would think that must exist outside of our world too. So perhaps there are beings, creatures, things that feed on humanity and have done so for a very long time. And if that was true, well, we'd probably see a whole lot of, legends and information and lore about creatures that have been preying on man from the darkest forests and from the dead of night and from all these thin spaces, which, of course, we do. So, if we just go with half the notion of we're more than our physical bodies, this would terrify everyone. Like the Brookings report came out and said that if UFOs are real, then, society would stop working, everyone would freak out. But imagine how it would go if everybody found out that, we're actually in a predator-prey relationship and we're not on the top of the food chain. That's why this is a channel, this is age-restricted, because, how would it be to talk to your kids and they say, Mom, Dad, are monsters real? And you're like, yeah, actually they are. And then you bust out all the David Paulides books. Probably not the best parenting tip. Don't do that. But we want to pretend like we're in charge. We want to say to ourselves that, yeah, there is, good and evil, and we're the good guys, and there's definitely nothing that's lurking just in the shadows to eat us. And maybe not in every shadow, and maybe not all year round. But it seems to me that when you actually look at the reports and the evidence, it's pretty obvious that we're being harvested. It's pretty obvious that there's something more going on than what we see. And this ecosystem exists. It may not be good, it may not be bad. I mean, from our perspective, for sure it's bad. But we have to be realistic with the fact that, yeah, why is it that all these corporate types want to keep us in the cities? Why is it that the skeptics are given the rule? Why is it that science is so reductionistic and materialistic? Why is that? Does that serve a greater purpose?